Hey everybody, how you doing? Hey, I'm going to do something a little different today, so bear with me. But before I get into the excitement and everything that I'm doing, I want to ask how many of you are facing burnout right now? Maybe you're burnout from your job, or maybe you're being burnout, or you're looking to work on your what's next and you just don't know where to start. Let me drop this to you. And I did some research before I come out here. Y'all know how I do it. Look, I haven't even given you the homework assignment, so just be noting this. But according to Forbes, 41% of Americans are facing burnout right now. Is that you? If so, stand back here, join us, grab your pen and paper. But first and foremost, I want to welcome you to the Envision Me show. I'm Pamela Stone, your vision board host, vision board boss and host. This is the place where dreams come alive, creativity flows, inspiration is just one conversation away. Think about it. Each week, I bring incredible stories, as you'll get to hear today, brilliant minds and ideas that'll challenge you to push past the boundaries that are set to make it possible. Whether you're an inspiring entrepreneur, a creative soul, or someone simply looking for a spark of motivation, you're in the right place. So tonight's guest, she is an Olympian, and we were just talking about, she just finished competing, you guys. I can't wait for you to meet her. But I want you to know that you need to grab your pen and paper, because we were dropping nuggets in the back, on the background in the green room. So note there will be more nuggets dropping. But anyways, you know how I love some interaction. So drop your comments here in the feed. If you're not, let me give you one quick real quick. If you are not a StreamYard user and you want to participate, I need you to give us authority. And actually, there will be a message from StreamYard, and it says, do you give us authority to see you? And it's just to see your name. If not, I won't be able to see you tonight until later on when we get off the show. So please give us the permission so we can see your comments. And then also too, tonight's hashtag is Envision Me Show. So I'm really excited. But before we get into the amazing conversation that I'm gonna have, this is one quick exercise I want to do. Again, before I give you your homework, before I give you your assignment, I want you all to close your eyes. Take a deep breath. Imagine where you want to be. Imagine what you want to achieve and how you want to feel. Now open your eyes. Here on the Vision Me show, we are all about tuning visions into reality. So without further ado, grab your pen and paper, grab your friends, family, and girlfriends, because I'm going to bring on the amazing guest, Krista Ford. Hey, Miss Krista.
Hey, Miss Pam.
How you doing this evening?
I am doing fabulous. I'm breathing, so I don't have nothing to complain about.
I know that's right. Well, I know who you are, but tell everybody else who you are.
Okay, so my name is Krista Ford. I am a professional athlete, as well as I am a pioneer in another sport that I participated in. I was in the first Black female to ever bobsled. And if anybody remembers the old movie Cool Runnings, long time ago, that was by Walt Disney with the Jamaican bobsledders, that's what I did. And I was the first Black female to ever do that sport. But my primary sport is powerlifting. I've been weightlifting and powerlifting for over 40 years now, and I still compete in my sport. And that's kind of who I am. Now I'm a first-time author. I got a book coming out. I'm a motivational speaker. And I just want to share with the whole world the secret and the magic of life on how do you get where I'm at, and how we're going to talk about vision boards. I solely believe in vision board. I have one in my home, and it's an amazing thing to do with that. But so that's who I am basically. And I live here in Atlanta, Georgia. So I'm in Atlanta. Anybody want to come to Atlanta? I'm right here.
Oh my goodness. Look, I have a star in my show, you guys. Just note that. We were talking a minute ago. I'm like, you are the GOAT. And I promise you guys, you have to get to know her and follow her and see the amazing work she has. But how did you even get into part? Look, I'm since I've met you, now I'm really be into. I see it on TV and stuff, and I'll be look. I'll be all up in, and my grandkids will talk to me, and they're like, "Grandma," I'm like, "Wait, it's not over yet. I have to see this," and it's just amazing to see, especially the women, to see
Yes.
them deadlifting. The 400, 300 to
Yeah.
200
Yeah.
and things like that. So, how did you even get into this?
Okay, so from day one, I've always been an athlete. When I got into high school, I was on the track and field team. I was on the golf team. I was in ROTC. So I've always been an athlete. It's always been innately in me. So then, as I came out of high school, I was planning on going into the Olympics for track and field, being a sprinter. But I got some advice from my track and field coach in high school. His name is Steve Ritter. And he said, Krista, you would be a better weightlifter. And I was at that time, this was in the 80s. And I was like, what sports out there that are really weightlifting? The only one I did know of was bodybuilding, like Arnold Schwarzenegger. I knew about that. He said there's powerlifting, there's Olympic lifting that you see with the women and the guys jerking the weight over their head in the Olympics. And at that time, there was no strongman. So what I ended up doing was 2 days after graduation, I moved to California. And everybody in California is all about physical fitness. I don't care what age you are. I don't care what color you are. Everybody's into physical fitness out in Cali. So that kind of got my start. I ended up joining the gym. I ended up getting trained by the owner on how to do everything properly as far as weightlifting. I had some weightlifting in high school, but not near on the level when I got out to Cali. And then that kind of trickled and started this thing where the lady that owned the gym, her name was Linda Tracy, and I lived in Tracy, California. She said to me, just like my old track coach, you should bodybuild. I said, okay. I was like, let's try it. So then I came back home and I was raised in Indianapolis, Indiana, next to you there in Ohio there. And from there, I got into bodybuilding. I competed at it. And then out of that came another suggestion. You would be a good power lifter. I said, okay, let me try that too. So I tried that and fell in love with it. And 40 something plus years later, I'm still doing that sport. And I absolutely love it. So yes.
So all of those though, let's back up though, because to me, it would seem to take a lot of mindset. And so what are some of the mindset that you have to go through to prepare your mind for something like that?
You have to be very intentional and very focused on the goal. If I say that, as you keep going along, the mindset I've always had, because I've always had a mindset of an athlete, so I'm kind of ahead of most people, I would think. True. Right? Mm-hmm. So in saying that, in order to go into one sport to the next, the mindset has to be that you believe you can do it, for one. So you can't have any doubt, for one. Then the people that are around you, say your coaches or the people that are encouraging you, you look to them to help keep navigating you and guiding you in that direction, to keep your mind right and focus going forward at all times. Because if you get people in your circle that are distracting you all the time, or they're trying to tell you negative stuff, you don't want them there. So you want to try to surround yourself on this journey of going here, being very focused, having good, positive energy people around you always, and keep going in that direction. And that'll keep you right. But when you start getting off track, it's because people are coming in that are not talking your language, and you don't want to hear that stuff. You want to keep going in this way. So you just got to really focus in on keeping a good circle around you as well as yourself. And for me, I talk to God all the time.
Yes.
Every day, every second of the day. And that's what's helped me along the way too, because if nothing else, and not saying anything against this, but even if you don't believe, talking to someone that you know will always be there, and always keep you focused and on the right track, how would you not want to talk to someone like that? You
That
know what I
is
mean?
true.
So
That's
that's your circle.
powerful.
That's your circle too. But I'm just saying, if you get your circle like you talking to God a lot, boy, there's no way you're gonna fail. No way. You're gonna
I
always go
I
forward.
agree, because that's one thing that I always talk to everybody here that's
Yeah,
listening and following us. Your tribe is your team. And
it
if
is.
you don't have one, I always invite people, they can come here. There's women such as yourself and myself and thousand others that will come and support you. But you're right, you have to have that right support group, because there's already distractions to the left and to the right that
Yes.
can get you off and veer you off so easy. To get back into the groove and get back focused takes time. And
And a
then
lot
right.
and a lot of that is most of the time when you start moving in a good positive direction, it's usually those distractions is because the people are jealous
Yes.
and very envious of what you're doing, especially if you start getting a lot of attention.
Hmm.
But yeah, so yeah, you're right. Yeah.
I so agree with you there. So as you're powerlifting, look, this question is for me. So just
Okay. Yep.
as you're powerlifting, but there also is the dedication of eating.
Uh,
And I believe, and the reason why I want to talk a little bit about it, as you know, in the magazine, we have that empower her health. And I think that is important, especially for women that is over 45 or me, such as myself, that's over 50, getting
mhm.
ready to hit
Me
60,
too.
that,
Mhm.
that the health is so important. So how do you even balance with the healthy eating? How did you balance all of that?
You know what? For now, when I was in bodybuilding, your diet is
Mm,
essential, right? But
yes,
powerlifting, the more you eat, the stronger you are, the more you can lift. So it's a little bit of a different analogy between the two sports, right?
right.
Because they don't care what you look like in powerlifting. They just care how much you lift. So you're going to have to be big and strong enough, lots of protein, lots of carbs, constantly. But what I would suggest of anybody, especially of women that are older and whatnot, you want to just try to eat the best way that you can and try to eliminate the bad stuff as much as you can. Because I don't ever tell anybody to diet. You will never hear that come out of my mouth because it's not realistic, Pam, for you
Right.
to go through life and constantly be measuring out each and every chicken breast. You're
Because
not going to do
I'm gonna tell you now, if once we start working, you come back and say, Pam, I'm like, no.
it.
I'm like, Krista, we're gonna have a little heart to heart girl talk. That didn't work so well for me.
So and so what I do for myself and what I try to play forward to most people, just eat better. Just eat the best that you can. Try to get as much water in you as you can because that flushes everything out, of course. And if you eat a lot of sweets or fried or things like that, just start trying to wean yourself off of these things a
True.
little bit at a time. Don't try to cold turkey it because it's like an addict. You're going to start going through withdrawal and it's not going to work. So you just kind of ease yourself into it. But I just tell people I don't eat bad. I have my quirks, but I kind of offset it because of my training.
Exactly.
So I might go out and eat something bad and I'm in the gym the next day just getting it out doing cardio,
Right.
but that's not for everybody. Everybody can't do that. So I just said try to eat the best you can and just try to stop eating at a certain time of night. That's
Yeah.
what I would say for sure, because you got to give your body time to digest the food and blah, 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 and all that kind of stuff. So
Okay, look, it sounds like I'm a little bit ahead of the game. I do stop eating after 7. So that's a
you
perk.
are, that is very, very much so.
I am ahead of the game there, and
You
I
really
don't
are.
eat fried food. So okay,
Yes.
we may
We're going to work together.
this may work. Okay, okay.
We're going to work this out. Don't you worry.
This sounds exciting now. It sounds hopeful. Okay, okay.
Yeah. So I'm not so much of I really don't. Even an athlete and a weightlifter, like I've been forever and coming out of these different sports that I've been in,
Yes.
I just know that if I eat decent, I feel good when I am performing, when I'm training. I don't feel like this big ball is in my stomach because I just ate something horrible. I like
Mhm.
to try to eat as clean as I can because it helps my performance and it helps me feel better when
Right.
I'm actually trying to run 5 miles. If I got all kinds of funky stuff inside of me,
Right. You're not
that's going to be a long day.
it sure is.
So that's what I would advise most people. Don't make it a job like that. Just little baby steps, and try to clean it up and eat best you can, and stop at a certain time, like you said you were already doing, and that's perfect because that's what you want to do.
Right. So, Krista, say for instance, we have women, actually, we have women around the world that are listening to us, and they're like, okay, this all sounds good. What kind of piece of advice, what would be your first piece of advice that they could do now that can help them be inspired?
As far as physical fitness or just in general?
Just in general.
I would say, I tell people this all the time. You have to the first step you need to do is find something that makes you happy, whatever that may be. I don't care if it's going down the street and get a cup of coffee. If that makes you happy, start doing that. And then what you'll find that if when you start doing things to make yourself happy, then that starts focusing yourself on you. And that's that self-love. So then once we start going there, then you just start trickling into different things that might start really inspiring you to do something else that makes you happy inside. So that's what I would tell most people. It doesn't have to be physical fitness. It could be something else. But I would say, figure out what makes you happy. When you were a kid and you like to play around a lot and kickball, go join a kickball team. They got them all over the place now. I mean, just something that will give you some joy and peace and bliss in your life, whatever it may be. Go for it. Go find it. Figure it out. You know what makes you happy. Everybody knows what makes them happy.
Right.
Then go for that. That's what I would say. Start there. Then once you start there, then you'll figure it. It'll start kind of dropping as you go along. You're like, oh, I'm really good at this thing that I like that makes me happy. So let me start really diving into this and seeing where this goes. So
I like that. What about those that are on this journey of health? What piece of advice would you like to leave them with?
You know what? Keep going. I don't care how many times you stop and start. Keep going, because in the end, you will start maintaining this for the rest of your life. And I guarantee you one thing, you stick with it and it will always repay you back in a positive way. Always, especially as we get older. So if you get a little stronger, then say that lady that was 70 years old, she fell and broke her hip. Well, think about it. If she was a little bit stronger down below or even above, she might have been able to brace herself and she might not have hit so hard and it might not have been so bad. So I would say, especially for women, as you keep going along, stay with the physical fitness, whether that be your cardio or being in the gym or whatever kind of physical fitness you like to do. Stay with it, because in the end, I guarantee you, as you get older, it will totally pay you back in such a good way. And that's even from when you get sick, you might be able to get through a cold a heck of a lot quicker if you're physically together. You know what I mean?
I do. I think that's a good idea. I think I think that's so wise. I agree with you, because when I am working out, everyone's like, okay, you have gotten on my nerves because my mouth won't shut up and I got a lot of extra energy, more than normal. So you're right. And it also too, you're right, fighting off the cold. You see everybody else that's fighting off the colds, but yet I have to say, for me, I knock on something, I may get a sniffle. It may last one day, and everyone lingering on and on. So I agree with you, and I'm all about the health journey. So I'm with you there. Krista, if somebody wants to get in touch with you, what's the best way they can?
Okay, so you can either go to my website. Everything's under Power by Krista, Krista, and then my website is .com. I have a YouTube channel. You can go on that and subscribe. Everything's under Power by Krista. You can befriend me on Facebook. Everything's under Power by Krista. Just befriend me or whatever you like to do there. That's the best way, really, for me right now. Yeah.
So I have it. I will drop it in the show notes. Those of you who are like, okay, you're like me. Normally, I'm one of those that are just so fascinated in listening that I forget to write down things. But I have written down a lot of notes
Okay, that's good.
today. But I will definitely put it in the show notes on how people will get in contact with you. So on this side of the show, we're going to talk a little bit about vision boards, and I think
Oh,
they're
oh,
important.
mm,
I have 6 of them,
oh,
and they each serve their purpose. But
yes,
I think that we need to talk about vision boards because they also align us and allowing us to get to our what's next.
yes.
And so many people, or the myth, people say they call it a magical board. I don't even know how many times someone told me that. I was like, the look, it was all over my face. I was like, a
Yeah,
magic board?
yeah.
Never heard of a
Like a genie bottle.
Hey, if it was these
It's
six
pretty much.
brothers, they need to get to working. The
Yeah,
six up here, they need to get to working
yeah,
together.
yeah.
But so with that being, first of all, as you talked about vision board, how do you use your vision board? And do you do a vision board? How often do you do a vision board?
Okay, so I have one vision board in my business office. I started it January 29th, 2015. I put the things that I visualized. My book is on there, and that's already come to fruition, right? And I put up some things that I really wanted to see happen with me in my life. I have not changed that board. I've added on a few things, but for the most part, it stayed the same. I have one. And through that one, every time I'm in there looking on my computer or it's right above my computer.
Mhm.
I get to constantly see the affirmations that I have on there, the pictures I have on there. And when I'm looking at my board, I'm constantly talking to God about that board
Mhm.
because so far on that board, 2 huge things have already come to fruition for me. Okay. And one of them is the book. So the book is done. It's getting ready to drop in September. I never would have seen it, but that's on my board. I think for the most part, if the listeners can understand one thing, it's called the law of attraction.
Absolutely.
So if you understand the law of attraction or look it up, it's in The Secret. It's all with the 12 laws of the spiritual laws of the universe. The
Right.
law of attraction is one thing, and it is very easy to understand. What you think about, you bring about.
Mhm.
Period. In life. That's what a vision board is. You're looking at something, you have a prolonged thought about that one thing that you want to see happen in your life. I guarantee you it's going to happen. Either if it's 1 month, 10 months, 50 years, it's getting ready to happen because that is your thought that you're putting out in the universe and you're talking to God about a lot. That you were like, I want this to happen for me. So
Right.
it's a positive thought, but it's an intentional thought. But that's the same thing when people talk about karma, or
Mhm.
you reap what you sow.
Right.
That's a vision board. So if you're sowing out constantly, I want that good thing to happen to me. I want that good thing to happen to me. It's going to happen.
Right.
If you're constantly sowing out bad stuff or doubting, it will never happen.
I
Okay.
Thank you. Say it again because
It,
people doesn't believe. I believe what you say. What you put in the out there in the universe, it is going to give it back to you. So
absolutely.
always, I'm always thinking of, and with the vision board, I have one that I did back in 2019, and at
Mhm.
the very bottom, in small, this small,
Yeah.
it's media,
Yeah. And
me, and
look,
what?
look.
Look where I'm at.
Well,
Never.
like my grandmother always used to say, proof's in the pudding.
That's right. I never imagined to have my own show, my own magazine, and on my own streaming at all. So it does work. But also know, as we're talking to positivity and we're talking those positive energies, we also are putting in the work to do it. Now, I want
You
someone
have,
to understand
yes,
that too. It comes with work. You just
a
put it on
lot.
the board and talking doesn't work. You also have to put in the work. And
You
that's
do.
where it comes into talking about is setting your goals.
Yep.
I believe in setting goals. I set my goals daily, and it's just to
Yep.
help me stay focused.
Yeah.
Um, but understand you do have to do work, because
You-
also people like, I put the pictures on there, but
yeah.
nothing happened.
But you know what? Even to that, to piggyback off of what you just said,
Yes.
say you envision yourself, I'm just going to say a materialistic thing. Say
Right.
you have on your vision board this mansion, just beautiful home.
Right.
Go look for that house,
Right.
get in it, walk in it, look around and
True.
feel it. Because you can, it's not just enough to think about it.
You
You
have to.
have to feel yourself in it. Or
Right.
if you have this certain car that you would love to drive, go test drive that car, because
Right.
that's going to be your thought. So you're right. You have to just, it's so easy for people to think, oh, I'm just going to ask God for this and he's going to give it to me. No, what he wants you to do is first trust him. And two, he wants you to do the work. Like you just said, you can't just go, oh, okay, this is my genie and I'm going to do like this. And poof, there it is. No,
Right.
no, you got to put in a lot of work. And so you're absolutely right. And you have to believe. You have to believe in your heart that
Yes.
you can have whatever it is you want to have in life, but you have to put it out there so it'll come back to you that way. Exactly. And you got to do the work. You
The
can't
work
just sit
opportunity.
around being lazy. No, you
No.
can't do that. Yeah.
And I also like the way you talk about, we have to go in and feel it,
You
right?
do. You do.
And I'm one of especially people like me, that if you feel it and you touch it, you know it's real. And
It's good.
so, for that being said, I love that you said, go sit in the house, walk around it, and sit there and
Yeah.
imagine yourself in your car. I
Yeah.
used to do that all the time. And the
Yeah.
guys, while they're the guys like, well, Miss Stone, we can get you the car. I'm like, oh, I'm not ready for it yet. But
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
knew, but I knew what I needed to do. And I went up there every week, sat in the car, talked
That's
to
what you have to do.
and
Exactly.
it does work. So I do recommend, if those of you who have not done a vision board, we can even have an online vision board party. Done it before, can
Yeah.
do it again. But that's something I want everybody to understand. With that being said, Krista, comes the vision board, comes goals. What are some of the goals you have that's coming up for you right now?
Well, a movie deal. The book ain't even dropped yet. So on my vision board, I have book, movie, documentary, right?
Right.
Now, I've already gotten interest from film producers. They are interested in my story, period. So they're already talking about that. So that's this journey I'm on, right?
Yes.
And so the that's the biggest thing right now. So first and foremost, I have to make sure that one thing, when people make vision boards, you have to understand something. You have to don't get ahead of yourself.
Hmm.
Okay. So whatever your goal is that you have on your vision board, focus on that one first. Then once you get that, the next thing will come and the next thing will come. So for me right now, it's really the publishing of my first book and the impact I already know it's going to have on the world when it comes out, when I can speak on it. So that's my biggest focus right now with that. And then the movie, I've already got the people in my ear about the movie already. So that's another new, it's not a new goal, it's on my
Right.
board,
Right.
but it's something I'm starting to think about in my back set of my head here, in my back thought. And that's something I'm really focused on too now. You
Oh,
know?
that is awesome. That is
Yeah.
awesome. As you get in tuned on those goals that you have, do you read? And if you read, this is the reason why I say that is, as I believe in empowering, inspiring ourselves, we have to expand our minds.
Mhm.
And so one way I feel is the easiest, I say for me, and I want to let me give the disclaimer, because normally about this time my phone is blowing up saying I get kickbacks. I get no kickbacks, everybody. But I
Uh-huh.
believe in reading. And the way I read is I do actually Audible, because I don't have a lot of time. So I can listen to my book as I'm doing things. So
Yes.
with that being said, do you have a book that you, besides the one you're putting out, because we're gonna talk about that in a minute, but besides the book that you're getting ready to put out, do you read, and do you have a favorite book? And if so, what is that book?
Okay, I'm just like you. I am not a reader. I never have been. It
Right.
takes something very interesting for me to open it up.
Me
If it
too.
has anything to do with my sport, I usually would, and things like that. But I am like you. I like to hear.
Right.
So I love Audible. That's why I just have never been a reader.
Yeah,
Ever. My whole life. I don't sit down and just open up a book and go, oh, I love reading. No. And that's just, I'm being honest and I'm being me, right?
Yeah.
But what I have found that works for me, even in, I co-authored this book, so I had a friend of mine collaborate on this book with me, right?
Yes.
In that, I listen to a ton of affirmation reels that keep me very focused on the journey, which I'm on. I have some Audible books that changed my life. The Secret was one.
Yes.
By Rhonda Byrne.
Yep.
Okay. That started changing my life. And that book will teach you the law of attraction.
Absolutely.
What does that mean? Because I had no clue on what this meant.
Right.
I had another book that came to me that I listened to on Audible. It was called The Empath Survival Guide by Dr. Judith Orloff.
Okay.
And in that, it was a chapter 5 that helped me get through some trauma and understand what I just went through. And that book really helped me understand that. I listened to that too. And there was there's a couple other books, but this other one, The Alchemist.
Oh, I listened to that book in one day.
And you know what? That book right there, if anybody's hearing this, get The Alchemist.
Yes.
That book will get you on fire. I don't care where you're at in your life.
Yes.
It will teach you all this. It's just an amazing book that teaches you this parable about this young shepherd boy.
Yes.
And if that's not telling you about goals and visions and what you think about, you bring about, it just hits all these different facets on this boy in there had a goal to get to the pyramids. How do you get there?
Yeah.
And I love The Alchemist. So yes, and I listened to it. I can't even tell you how many times. And every time I listened to it, I grabbed up something new.
Me too. Something. I'm like, wait a minute, where was that in the book? What did I? But that is a good book. I read that. I listened to that book from the beginning to end in one day. It was so good.
It keeps you just engaged because the storytelling in that is just so compelling, and it's so much like the way we live.
Yeah, it is.
Human beings, the way we live is that story of The Alchemist. Yeah.
I'm with you. So as I listen to books, so I'm reading, look, this book has really intrigued me. She was on Tamara Hall's show. And the woman that written this book, she once was homeless. Now she is a millionaire. And how she became a millionaire, she does funding. So she has created a funding company. And she had noticed that when she was being homeless, before she was homeless, she lived with her mom. While she was going through with her mom growing up, they were constantly off and on with food stamps and off and on within those housings. And finally, she had to get herself ready for the next part of her life. Her and her mom were sharing a place. She had to move her mom back home with her family to get herself, that she had to face homelessness. So as she was facing homelessness, she realized that there was things she wanted to do, but she had no money. So she has created this funding company that she has done. And so that's what she does now. She has over millions of dollars that she gives women. Of course, there's a process, and that's what she does. And so I am reading her book, and it's called Your First Million. Now, funny enough, I'm gonna get you.
Is first spelled out, or is it a number one?
Nope, Your First Million. And the author's name is Arlene, Arlan Hamilton.
Is Arlene spelled
Arlan?
Oh, A-N. Arlene Hamilton.
That's how you sound it.
Okay.
And she talked in her book, she's giving you the recipe on how to get your first million. And so in the conversation, which was really intrigued to me, is Tamara Hall's like, well, you're giving them the recipe on how to build a millionaire. And we all know not everybody's going to do it. She goes, right. And so Arlene's like, right, everybody's not. She goes, She goes, what 5% will get the book? Out of that 5%, 1% will read it. No, 3%, I'm sorry, 3% will read the book, 2% will implement it, and 1% will follow through.
Yeah.
She goes, so though I may giving you the recipe on how to get your first million, it's all on who's going to do it.
Yeah, that's true. And you know, it's easier said than done for
That's
most
right.
people. They can say it all day, but it's proofs in the pudding. You got to do it.
Yeah, and that's what she was saying.
Wow.
So it is really, and I just got the book yesterday, and I'm already on chapter 9. Do you
So
hear
it's
what I'm
on
saying?
Audible.
It is on Audible, yes.
Perfect. You already know I'm getting.
And do you hear me? I just got it yesterday, and I'm already on chapter 9.
Oh yeah, you all engaged. That's how I am. But
I
especially when it's something that resonates with me,
Yes,
and like her, you know, I have a similar story to her too. I was
right,
homeless. Yeah.
yes,
So I know how this. I know I kind of this what you're saying about what she's saying, how
yes,
she came from this, and
yes.
now she's here. That drives you
That,
to want to always do better for yourself
yes,
because you don't ever want to be back there again.
that's so true. I
And
know that.
that's probably
I know
why
that.
this is captivating you. And I
Yeah.
know I'm gonna get it because I'm gonna be like
Oh,
this the whole time, going, "Oh,
I
what?"
I turn up when I'm working now. I turn off the TV. I used to have the TV just on. Turn off
Yeah,
the TV and I listen to that book all day. So, like I said,
yeah.
I'm on chapter 9 and I got it. But
You
I
know
think
what? Do me a favor. Spell her last name for me.
sure, Hamilton.
O-N. That's what I thought it was. I just wanted to make sure. So it's Arlan is her first name.
That is correct.
Okay, but it's Arlene, not spelled. But most times they spell it
Yeah,
Lean or something like.
no,
Okay, okay,
no.
okay. Very
So,
unique.
so that's what I'm currently reading.
Thank
And
you
in
for that.
between that one, I am reading uh, Power Moves by Sarah Jakes. And that's all about when you make those moves, you God's going through that power move, by how you're handling the power moves. What I like about her, Sarah Jakes, is she implements the Bible inside of the
Oh.
practice. So I'm listening. Let me change my word. I am listening to that book as well.
And is it Jake's plural or singular?
Hold on, let me see.
Were frustrated and overwhelmed.
Hold on. Jakes with an S.
Okay, so it's Sarah Jake's power
Jakes.
move.
Yes.
Okay, I got that. Ooh, I'm glad you get because I didn't pretty much listen to the ones that I like, and I haven't picked up anything new lately. But like I said, I listen to a ton of affirmation reels every
Yes.
freaking
Me
morning.
too.
I
I
do
have
to
to.
keep myself grounded. And you have people all over right now, from Oprah's to Alicia Keys to everybody who is anybody,
Right.
talking about what we're talking about right here.
Exactly.
The law of attraction, the way you think, get a vision board, get these toxic people out of your life, start
Right.
getting intentional, start moving forward, start talking to God a lot. This is the way the world is now. You see so many people out here right now are preaching exactly
What we're
what
talking about.
we're doing right now
Exactly.
because it works. You
It
got
does.
tons of people out here right now just really putting it out here.
Yeah. And this has been fun. Well, our time is almost up. But before we go, it's going by fast.
I know.
Before we go, as you are so busy at what you do, what is one self-care routine that you do for yourself?
First thing when I wake up in the morning, I have a ritual. And it takes care of me. And what I do is I have an attitude of gratitude. Every morning I wake up, I say that's for me. And I just thank the Lord for everything I already have
Yes.
so that I can get more of that. But that is one thing that I do every morning. I have a morning ritual and I do that. When my feet hit the ground after I wake up and I'm breathing, I start thanking. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
That's right.
And that just really puts myself in a good headspace, as well as it starts my day off perfect. And I don't have anything in distractions immediately. I'm all cleared of everything.
Yeah, I'm with you.
That's what
I'm
I
so
do.
good. I do that too. I do, especially because corporate, I have to be on at a certain time. So I'm always mindful of the time, but I'm also mindful of my time with me and with
Yes.
God. and I'm always talking to them. But I'm with you to stay grounded. I have to do that. And then once I get, my feet hit the ground, then I'll sit and listen to the affirmations as I begin my day. I notice though, if I forget, my day is just like, okay,
It does.
So off kilter is correct. I'm like, what is going? And one day I told my supervisor, I need an extra 15 minutes, and you can dock me. I'll work it at the end, but I need to.
You got to get it together. You got to pull it back. You got to bring it back. What I call it is shifting it back to where it was at first. Yeah.
I so agree with you.
Yeah.
Well, Miss Krista, this has been fun. Oh,
Thank
one
you.
more thing before we go. What would you like to leave the listeners with?
Never, ever, 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 ever in this lifetime, as long as you're breathing, walking on this earth, don't ever give up. Ever. I don't care what hits you. I don't care what you're going through. Don't ever give up on yourself, especially, or what you want to see happen for you. Don't ever give it up. Always stay focused and stay on it. I don't care how many times it fails. Stay on it, because it will come to fruition. I guarantee you. Just can't give up. That's it.
I so agree. And then lastly, how can people get a hold of you? One more time, Casey, just now catching us at the end.
Okay, so all of my social media, which I'm not on a lot, but we'll just say, so Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and I have a YouTube channel. All that's under Powered by Krista, Krista. The best way to get a hold of me is go to my website, because it says on there how to contact me. You just click it. So that's www.poweredbykrista.com. And on there, you will see where you can pre-order my memoir that's coming out in September too as well.
So thank you so much, Krista. This was fun. We're going to have you back.
Yes.
Y'all, she forgot to tell you. I was waiting, thought she would tell you. So I'm going to tell you before we let her go. Okay, Krista just finished competing, you guys.
I did.
And you want to tell them how much you deadlift?
Well, I broke my own world record again. So it was like 413 was the 413 pounds was the deadlift record. And I also got another title. So I'm now 14 times national champion. So I was 13 before I went into that. So I got another title underneath me. Yeah.
And the reason why I wanted her to tell you guys that is because with determination, determination and focus, she was able to reach this goal. And more so with her powerful tribe she made, and look what she's doing. And then of course she hasn't told you guys, but she'll be competing soon too. But I'll keep you guys
keep them abreast.
I shall like I did over the weekend. Krista, I'm gonna put you in the green room. Don't hang up. I'll be right back with you.
Okay, thanks
again.
All right.
Okay, you guys, that was so much fun. I don't know who needed to hear it. If you are just now catching this episode now, go back and listen to the replay. You'll be able to hear the replay on all of the large podcast platforms. I always believe in sharing is caring, so share it to those that you know that this can impact their lives. But as Krista said, never give up. We only have one life to live. Live that life to your fullest, not anyone else. You see, we talked about determination. We talked about being focused. We even threw in some of those health tips. Those of us that's getting older, a seasoned women that are getting older, we need to be more focused on our health. And Krista talked about, she doesn't believe in measuring, which thank goodness, because I'm getting ready to work with her. But she also talked about change and how to do change in small increments. So definitely do that. If you're looking for someone to help you going to your what's next and you're facing burnout and don't know how to get to your what's next, go ahead and hit me up. You can text me at 614-674-0074 and just put in there burnout, and I'll definitely be in touch with you. Until next week, when I have another amazing powerhouse as I did today, know that you are amazing. Go after your vision and know it can be made just by doing what you want to do and speaking it into existence, right? And don't forget, use them power boards, y'all. We're going to keep talking about power boards throughout. This is it. Power boards, vision boards will be constantly being talked about and the importance of it. And Krista even talked about how she uses vision board, and that she used her vision board dated back 2015 on there, it talks about she has a book. And look, in September, she'll be dropping her book. And now she's working on so much more. So note that it does work. And I'm here to help you make your vision be made. Till next week, everyone.